Hey Taurus, I need to sit down and share something with you today because what came through in these cards is honestly quite unsettling, but also incredibly revealing about what has been happening in your energy field. Before I even pulled any cards, I felt this heaviness, this sense that something has been working against you from the shadows. And as the reading unfolded, the picture became crystal clear in a way that honestly made my skin crawl a little bit. I want you to know that this reading is not about fear or panic. This is about awareness, protection, and ultimately about the triumph that is already unfolding for you. What I am seeing here is a situation that involves deliberate spiritual interference, jealousy that turned into something much darker, and the karmic consequences that are now circling back to the source. The universe has been watching everything, Taurus, and justice is not just coming. It has already started moving in your favor. So let me just be direct with you about what this reading revealed. There is a woman in your environment, someone who has been in your proximity, either physically or energetically, and her feelings toward you have gone beyond simple dislike or competition. We are talking about a level of animosity that drove her to seek outside help to cause you harm. Yes, I am talking about engaging with someone who practices darker forms of spiritual work, someone who was paid to send negative energy, confusion, and obstacles your way. This is not speculation, Taurus. The cards are showing this situation with such clarity that I cannot ignore it, and neither should you. But here is what I need you to understand right from the start. Whatever was sent your way, whatever rituals or workings were done with the intention to harm you, they are backfiring. The energy is returning to sender with compound interest, and what this person thought would destroy you is actually becoming the catalyst for your greatest breakthrough. The tragedy in this situation is not yours to carry. It belongs entirely to those who initiated this darkness, and they are about to understand the full weight of what they set in motion. The first card that came through is the Page of Swords, and right away, I felt this sense of vigilance and awareness cutting through confusion. The Page of Swords represents the energy of discovery, of uncovering hidden information, of seeing through deception and lies. This card is telling me that on some level, whether consciously or subconsciously, you have been picking up on the fact that something was off. You might have felt watched, targeted, or inexplicably blocked in areas of your life where things should have been flowing smoothly. The Page of Swords is that part of you that started asking questions, that started noticing patterns, that refused to accept the surface explanation for the difficulties you were facing. What I find really significant about this Page of Swords energy is that it represents mental clarity and the courage to investigate truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable. This is not a passive energy, Taurus. This is the energy of someone who arms themselves with knowledge, who refuses to be gaslit or manipulated into believing that their struggles are purely coincidental or self-created. The Page of Swords is showing me that you have been developing a sharper intuition lately, a keener sense of who means you well and who does not. You have been questioning things that used to fly under your radar, and that questioning, that healthy skepticism, has been your first line of defense. This card is also revealing to me the methods that were used against you. The sword suit is connected to the mental realm, to thoughts, communication, and the air element, which carries energy and intention. What was done to you was not just simple ill-wishing. This involved speaking your name in negative contexts, possibly writing it down, creating mental constructs designed to cloud your thinking, block your opportunities, and make you doubt yourself. The Page of Swords is exposing all of this, bringing it into the light where it loses its power. The very act of this reading, of you receiving this information, is part of the protective mechanism that the universe has activated around you. I also want you to understand that the Page of Swords carries a warning to remain alert and discerning going forward. This situation has taught you valuable lessons about spiritual protection, about the reality of energetic warfare, and about the importance of guarding your peace. The Page of Swords is encouraging you to trust your instincts when they tell you someone is not safe, even if that person appears friendly on the surface. You are developing an incredible gift for reading between the lines, for sensing hidden agendas, and for protecting yourself before harm can fully land. This is a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life, and it is being sharpened through this very difficult experience. The Page of Swords is also connected to justice in the sense of evidence and testimony. What was done in secret is being brought to light. The truth about who has been working against you, about the lengths they went to, about the resources they invested in trying to break you, all of this is being revealed. And here's the thing, Taurus. Once you know what you are dealing with, once you see the game clearly, you can never be played the same way again. The Page of Swords is your initiation into a higher level of awareness, and while the circumstances that brought you here are painful, the wisdom you are gaining is priceless. Now, the second card that appeared is the Chariot, and this is where the energy shifts from awareness to action, from defense to forward momentum. The Chariot is one of the most powerful cards in the entire tarot deck when it comes to victory, willpower, and the ability to overcome opposition through sheer determination. What the Chariot is telling me is that despite everything that has been thrown at you, despite the energetic attacks and the obstacles that seem to appear out of nowhere, you are moving forward. You are not stuck, you are not defeated, and you are certainly not broken. The Chariot represents the moment when you harness all of your inner resources, all of your strength and determination, and you direct it toward your goals with unstoppable force. This card is showing me that you have been fighting battles that others could not even see, carrying weights that others did not acknowledge, and yet you kept going. You kept showing up, kept working toward your dreams, kept believing in yourself even when circumstances tried to convince you that you were cursed or fundamentally unlucky. That perseverance, that refusal to quit, is what the Chariot celebrates and amplifies. What I find absolutely incredible about the Chariot appearing in this reading is that it represents not just survival, but triumph. This is not a card of barely making it through or scraping by. This is a card of decisive victory, of crossing the finish line while others watch in disbelief, of proving wrong everyone who bet against you. The Chariot is telling me that the very things that were meant to stop you are actually being transformed into fuel for your success. Every curse, every negative intention, every obstacle that was placed in your path is being alchemized into momentum that propels you forward even faster. The Chariot also speaks to me about protection in motion. This is not a static shield. This is active, dynamic protection that comes from staying focused on your goals and refusing to be distracted by negativity. When you are in Chariot energy, you become almost untouchable because your determination creates a force field that deflects attacks. You are moving too fast, too purposefully, for the negative energy to fully stick. It bounces off you and returns to where it came from because you are not giving it a place to land. You are not engaging with the drama, not feeding the conflict with your attention and emotional energy. You are simply moving forward, and that forward motion is your greatest protection. The Chariot is also revealing to me the spiritual support that is surrounding you right now. This card often appears when you have divine backing, when the universe itself has decided to champion your cause. What was done to you violated spiritual law, Taurus. It was an attempt to interfere with your free will, to manipulate your path, to steal opportunities that were rightfully yours. The universe does not take kindly to such violations, and the Chariot is showing me that cosmic forces are now working overtime to correct this imbalance and ensure that you receive not only what you were originally meant to have, but also compensation for what you had to endure. I am also seeing with the Chariot that you are about to enter a period of rapid progress and visible success. Things that have been delayed are going to start moving quickly. Doors that were stuck are going to swing open. Opportunities that seem to pass you by are going to circle back around or be replaced by even better options. The Chariot brings acceleration and breakthrough, and after everything you have been through, this is exactly the energy you need and deserve. You are about to see tangible proof that you were never the problem, that your struggles were not due to any lack or failing on your part, but were the result of external interference that is now being neutralized. The third card that came through is the Lovers, and this might surprise you given the dark theme of this reading. But stay with me, because what the Lovers reveals is absolutely crucial to understanding the full picture. The Lovers is not just about romantic relationships. At its core, this card is about choice, alignment, values, and the consequences of decisions made from either love or fear. What the Lovers is showing me is that at the heart of this situation is a choice that someone made. A choice driven by jealousy, insecurity, and the inability to celebrate someone else's light. The woman who targeted you, who went to such extreme lengths to try to harm you, she made a choice. She chose darkness over light, attack over acceptance, control over trust. And the Lovers is revealing that this choice came from a place of deep disconnection from her own values and her own heart. Perhaps at some point she considered herself a good person, someone with morals and principles, but when faced with her own feelings of inadequacy and jealousy regarding you, she chose to abandon those principles and engage with forces that she knew were harmful and wrong. The Lovers is marking that moment of choice as the beginning of her downfall. What I find really powerful about the Lovers appearing here is that it also represents your choices in contrast to hers. Where she chose manipulation and darkness, you have consistently chosen integrity and light. Where she chose to tear down and destroy, you have chosen to build and create. Where she chose to engage in spiritual warfare, you have chosen to focus on your own growth and healing. The Lovers is showing me that these contrasting choices have created two very different karmic trajectories, and the divergence between them is becoming increasingly apparent. The Lovers also speaks to me about the relationships and connections that have been protected in your life despite the interference. This card is telling me that the right people, the ones who are meant to be in your life, could not be driven away by external manipulation. True love, true friendship, true soul connections cannot be broken by witchcraft or curses. What was meant for you remained with you, and what left was never truly yours to begin with. The Lovers is reassuring you that your authentic relationships are safe, that the people who genuinely love and value you saw through any confusion or chaos that was being generated, and they stayed by your side. I am also seeing with the Lovers that there is a romantic element to this situation, possibly a love interest or partnership that this woman was particularly jealous of or wanted to interfere with. The Lovers is telling me that whatever attacks were directed at your love life, at your ability to connect with a significant other, they failed. The bond that is meant to be yours cannot be severed by outside forces. If there was confusion or turbulence in a relationship during the time when these attacks were active, the Lovers is showing me that clarity and harmony are being restored. The truth is coming to light, and any misunderstandings that were artificially created are being dissolved. The Lovers is also connected to the principle of divine partnership and the idea that the universe brings together people who are meant to collaborate, support, and elevate each other. What I am seeing is that while one person was trying to isolate you and cut you off from positive connections, the universe was simultaneously orchestrating meetings and partnerships that would not only compensate for the attacks, but would actually elevate you to a higher level than you would have reached without this challenge. The Lovers is showing me that you are being divinely matched with people, opportunities, and experiences that reflect your true worth and your authentic vibration. The fourth card that appeared is Ace of Wands, and this is where the energy really starts to shift from revealing the problem to showing you the breakthrough that is coming. The Ace of Wands is pure creative fire, new beginnings, inspiration, passion, and the spark of divine potential. This card is telling me that out of all this darkness and struggle, something incredibly vibrant and powerful is being born in your life. The Ace of Wands represents the moment when the universe hands you a gift, an opportunity, an idea, or a path that ignites your soul and propels you into a completely new chapter. What I love about the Ace of Wands showing up here is that it proves the spiritual principle that what is meant for you cannot be blocked permanently. Energy can be delayed, redirected, or challenged, but if something is truly aligned with your soul's purpose, it will find its way to you no matter what obstacles are placed in its path. The Ace of Wands is showing me that the creative and passionate projects, the opportunities for self-expression, the chances to step into leadership and visibility that were being blocked by this interference are now breaking through with even more force than they originally had. The Ace of Wands is also revealing to me that you are stepping into a new level of personal power and confidence. This experience, as difficult as it has forced you to confront your own strength, to discover resources within yourself that you did not know you had, and to develop a kind of spiritual backbone that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. The Ace of Wands is the card of the warrior, the pioneer, the person who is willing to stand alone if necessary and fight for what they believe in. You have become that person, Taurus, and now that you have claimed this power, there is no going back to a smaller version of yourself. I am seeing with the Ace of Wands that a major new beginning is on the horizon for you. Something that has been in the works energetically, but is about to manifest in physical reality. This could be a new career opportunity, a creative project that finally gains traction, a business venture that takes off, or a personal transformation that others can see and feel. The Ace of Wands brings the energy of initiation, of stepping through a doorway into a new realm of possibility, and it is telling me that you are ready. Everything you have been through has prepared you for this moment. The Ace of Wands is also connected to passion and enthusiasm, and I am seeing that despite everything you have endured, your inner fire has not been extinguished. In fact, it may be burning brighter than ever, because you now have clarity about what truly matters to you, about who you are when all the pretense and people-pleasing are stripped away, about what you are willing to fight for and what you are ready to release. The Ace of Wands celebrates this purification of your will and your desire, and it is saying that when you move forward from this place of authentic passion, nothing can stand in your way. The Ace of Wands is also a card of fertility and conception in all senses of the word. What you are creating now, what you are birthing into the world, whether it is a project, a relationship, a new version of yourself, or an actual child, it carries powerful protective energy because it is being born through fire, through trial, through the refining process of challenge. The Ace of Wands is blessing this new beginning and ensuring that it has the vitality and strength to thrive. The fifth card that came through is Nine of Cups. And when I saw this card appear, I felt a wave of relief and joy because the Nine of Cups is known as the wish fulfillment card, the card of emotional satisfaction, abundance, and dreams coming true. After everything you have been through, after all the struggle and the spiritual warfare and the inexplicable obstacles, the Nine of Cups is showing me that you are entering a period of genuine happiness and contentment. The universe is not just restoring what was taken from you. It is giving you more than you originally hoped for. The Nine of Cups is telling me that your deepest wishes, the ones you have been holding in your heart perhaps for years, are about to manifest. This is not about small consolation prizes or partial fulfillment. This is about the full realization of your dreams, about getting exactly what you asked for, and then discovering that it exceeds your expectations. The Nine of Cups appears when the universe decides to shower you with blessings, when your emotional and spiritual bank account is filled to overflowing, when you finally get to experience the joy and peace that you have worked so hard to cultivate. What I find beautiful about the Nine of Cups in this reading is that it represents the karmic reward for maintaining your integrity throughout this ordeal. You could have responded to attack with attack, to darkness with darkness, but you chose to stay in your light, to focus on your own healing and growth, to trust that justice would be served without you having to serve it yourself. The Nine of Cups is the universe acknowledging that choice and rewarding you for your spiritual maturity. You are getting your wishes granted not just as compensation for what you endured, but as recognition of who you are at your core. The Nine of Cups is also showing me that you are about to feel emotionally fulfilled in ways that you have not experienced in a long time, possibly ever. This could manifest as a deeply satisfying romantic relationship, as harmony and joy within your family, as friendships that nourish your soul, or simply as an inner sense of contentment and peace with yourself and your life. The Nine of Cups is connected to emotional security, to the feeling that you are loved, valued, supported, and safe. After a period where you may have felt emotionally vulnerable or under attack, this is exactly the healing that your heart needs. I am also seeing with the Nine of Cups that material abundance is flowing into your life. This card is often associated with prosperity, with having your material needs met and exceeded, with living in comfort and ease. The Nine of Cups is telling me that financial blessings are coming your way, that opportunities for increased income are opening up, that you are going to find yourself in a position where you no longer have to struggle or stress about resources. This abundance is not random or accidental. It is the direct result of the energetic clearing that has happened and the karmic rebalancing that is taking place. The Nine of Cups is also a card of celebration and gratitude. It is telling me that you are going to have moments in the near future where you look around at your life and feel genuine amazement and thankfulness for how far you have come and how much has changed. The Nine of Cups encourages you to celebrate these victories, to acknowledge your blessings, to share your joy with others, and to let yourself fully experience the happiness that is your birthright. You have walked through fire, Taurus, and now you get to enjoy the feast that has been prepared for you on the other side. The sixth and final card that appeared is Two of Swords, and this card is showing me the current state of the woman who initiated this attack against you. The Two of Swords represents being stuck in indecision, in denial, in a stalemate of one's own making. This card depicts someone who is blindfolded, holding two swords in a crossed position over their heart, refusing to see the truth of their situation. What the Two of Swords is revealing is that the person who tried to harm you is now trapped in the consequences of her actions, unable to move forward, unable to escape the karmic backlash that is surrounding her. The Two of Swords is showing me that this woman is in a state of mental and emotional paralysis right now. She thought she was taking powerful action by engaging with dark spiritual practices, but what she actually did was create a situation where she is now blocked on all sides. The energy she sent out has returned to her. The witch or practitioner she paid has likely turned on her, or is now extracting a price that goes far beyond money. And she is realizing that she played a game she did not understand and lost spectacularly. The Two of Swords is the card of being stuck between a rock and a hard place, and that is exactly where her choices have landed her. What I find significant about the Two of Swords is that it represents willful blindness and the refusal to acknowledge reality, even as the consequences of her actions are manifesting around her. This woman is trying to convince herself that none of this is her fault, that she was justified in what she did, that you somehow deserve to be targeted. The Two of Swords is showing me that she is creating elaborate mental constructs to avoid taking responsibility for the harm she tried to cause. But here's the thing about the Two of Swords. Eventually the blindfold has to come off. And when it does, the reality check is brutal. The Two of Swords is also revealing to me that this woman is experiencing a period of isolation and disconnection. The very thing she tried to do to you, cutting you off from support and love and opportunity, is happening to her instead. The Two of Swords shows someone sitting alone, unable to reach out for help, because to do so would require admitting what she has done. She is trapped in her own web of deception and manipulation, and the loneliness and fear that come with that are part of her karmic lesson. I am also seeing, with the Two of Swords, that there is a decision this woman needs to make, a choice between continuing down the path of darkness or turning back and seeking genuine redemption. The Two of Swords is a card of crossroads, of being forced to choose a direction. What I am picking up is that the pressure is building around her, and she will soon be forced to make a choice that will determine the trajectory of her life going forward. The cards are not showing me that she will make the right choice, but they are showing me that the opportunity for correction exists if she is willing to humble herself and do the work. The Two of Swords is also connected to the idea of truth being revealed despite efforts to hide it. The crossed swords over the heart represent attempts to protect oneself from facing painful realities, but they also block the flow of energy and keep a person stuck. What the Two of Swords is telling me is that the truth about what this woman did, about the lengths she went to in trying to harm you, is going to come out into the open. The blindfold will be removed not just from her eyes, but from the eyes of others who may have believed her lies or given her the benefit of the doubt. The exposure is coming, and with it, the social and karmic consequences that she has been trying to avoid. So Taurus, as I sit here looking at these 6 cards laid out before me, what I see is a complete story of attack, protection, reversal, and ultimate triumph. You have been through something that most people will never understand or believe is even possible, but you know the truth of what you experienced. You felt the weight of the negative energy. You noticed the inexplicable obstacles. You sensed that something was working against you from the shadows. The cards are validating that perception and telling you that you were not imagining it, you were not being paranoid, and you were not responsible for creating the difficulties you faced. But more importantly than validating the problem, these cards are showing you the solution and the victory that has already begun to unfold. The Page of Swords brought awareness and the beginning of protection through knowledge. The Chariot showed you that despite everything, you are moving forward with divine support and unstoppable momentum. The Lovers revealed the choices that have been made and the relationships that have been protected. The Ace of Wands heralded a powerful new beginning and the return of your creative fire. The Nine of Cups promised the fulfillment of your deepest wishes and emotional satisfaction beyond what you imagined. And the Two of Swords showed you the current trapped state of the person who tried to harm you, confirming that justice is real and karma is operating exactly as it should. What you need to understand, Taurus, is that you have already won. The attack failed. You were not destroyed, not broken, not permanently blocked. You discovered strength and spiritual resources that you did not know you had. You developed discernment and protective instincts that will serve you for the rest of your life. And now, as the karmic wheel turns in your favor, you are about to receive blessings and opportunities that will make this entire painful chapter seem like a distant memory, a strange detour on the way to your destiny that ultimately made you stronger and wiser. The tragedy that the cards speak of is not yours. It belongs to the person who chose darkness over light, who invested energy and resources into trying to harm someone who never actually threatened her, who violated spiritual laws and is now paying the price. Her story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of jealousy, about the consequences of engaging with spiritual practices that one does not understand, and about the reality that what we put out into the universe always comes back to us multiplied. Your story, on the other hand, is one of resilience, protection, divine justice, and ultimate victory. You are the person who walked through the valley of the shadow and emerged not only unscathed, but strengthened. You are the testimony to the power of staying in your integrity, of trusting in divine timing, of refusing to be drawn down to the level of those who wish you harm. And now, as you step into this next chapter, that the Ace of Wands and Nine of Cups are opening for you, you do so with wisdom, power, and the absolute certainty that you are protected and favored by forces far greater than any human manipulation. I want to leave you with this final thought. Do not waste any more energy wondering about this woman, worrying about what else she might try, or seeking revenge. The Two of Swords shows that she is already in her own prison, and karma is handling the rest. Your job now is to receive the blessings that are flowing toward you, to step fully into the new beginning that awaits, to celebrate the wishes that are coming true, and to trust that you are protected now and always. You have been through the fire, Taurus, and you have been refined into gold. Now it is time to shine.